Jeff Brown is a guy that I heard at a conference once, and I was fascinated by this guy, the way he thinks and what he knows. He's the founder and chief investment analyst for Brownstone Research. He's the editor of Bleeding Edge. He has also worked as at the executive level for some of the best technology companies in the world, Qualcomm, NXP Semiconductors, and Juniper Networks. He's a very successful angel investor in early stage technologies and has this knack of being able to piece things together. Welcome to the program, Jeff Brown. How are you?
Happy New Year, Glenn.
Happy New Year to you. And boy, isn't it a Happy New Year so far.
We're in for an interesting one.
Yeah, it is. Let's start with the limiting of voices. And Facebook and everyone from Facebook to CNN are saying we've got to limit these voices and snuff voices out. Can you talk about that at all? And if you care to, the importance of not snuffing out voices, and then how do we get around this? What do we do?
What took place over the last few weeks is something that the technology industry knew was possible, but never thought it would happen, actually. The thought of banning or censoring people simply because they have different opinions or a different ideology is, completely against everything, of course, the U.S. Constitution stands for.
So where are they? Because they don't seem to be popping up and saying anything.
Well, what we're seeing now is that technology companies are essentially running in fear. They're concerned that they themselves will be banned if they don't censor and ban. They'll lose many of their customers. It will negatively damage their business. And of course, they'll see an exodus of employees who have this shared, very progressive ideology, which obviously is opposed to anything different than what they believe in. And so many companies joined this in an effort to protect their business and protect their ability to employ, a large percentage of the technology community. That's why this is so unfortunate.
So,
of course,
go ahead.
I was just going to say these companies, especially the largest violators, of course, are the search companies like Google and the social media companies. Who have long been protected under Section 230, which basically gives them immunity as long as they don't censor. They won't be considered a publisher and therefore won't be liable for any content on their platforms. And right now, the actions that they've taken, indicate that they believe that they should be able to censor and ban and still have immunity and not be considered a publisher.
But without any control of Congress or the White House or the Senate, that ain't happening now. There's nothing to stop this.
Exactly.
The conversation from the left has been, well, conservatives should just build their own internet. Well, that's ridiculous. Can you give some perspective on what needs to be done if we were to have to start from scratch? Is it even possible?
It's not possible to start from scratch, especially when we're talking about physical infrastructure. I mean, so much of the fundamental foundational internet technology, of course, was funded by U.S. taxpayers.
Mm-hmm.
But it includes everything from football field-sized server farms to fiber optic cables and infrastructure to, the cable TV or fiber lines that ultimately run to our home. The idea of rebuilding all of that and having one network that allows censorship and another that protects freedom of speech, it's just not realistic. It's not economically realistic, and I don't even think it's politically realistic.
So,
Um,
so tell me, how does this end? Where are we headed with this? What comes next?
Well, the lessons that we learned in December were that obviously Google and Apple, as they control essentially 99+% of all smartphones, they can ban applications, smartphone applications, which is why an application like Parler was taken down. And then we saw cloud-based services like Google and Amazon, through its subsidiary, Amazon Web Services, could take down websites and just decide not to support applications. Now, that's the bad news. They have far too much control. The real risk for us is if the cable TV companies who act as internet service providers, or the AT&T and Verizons that might have fiber to the home, or give us wireless connectivity to our phones, they can also censor websites. For me, that's the big risk. If they shut down kind of the physical pipe of information and ban certain parts of the internet, then we lose our ability to communicate.
All right, so
now, it's not a,
would Elon Musk's satellite internet remedy that?
I was leading to that. So
Okay.
yes, I think Musk is somebody that we could count on. And he's been very vocal about this already. So yes, the satellite network could and will work. It's in fact working in the United States right now, and will launch in the next couple of months in the UK as well. The problem with that is that it doesn't really scale. So if we take the 80 plus million Americans who have a certain ideology, and we put them all on satellites, the network would fall over. There's just not enough capacity. We all couldn't use it at the same time. So I don't think that's a real good solution. But there is a solution. In fact, there is a very interesting blockchain technology project called Handshake, which provides us a glimpse of what that future could look like. We can think of Handshake as a highly secure, censor-resistant address book for the internet. It enables us to have essentially peer-to-peer connections with any media site or website that we would want to. It is disguised, it's masked, so that an AT&T, Verizon, your cable company wouldn't be able to block it because they wouldn't even know what the information is being sent to you. And so the way we would access this, the way we do today, is through specialized web browsers that give us the ability to communicate using this new kind of internet phone book that's not controlled by any one centralized organization, which is what we have today, by the way. There's an organization called ICANN that basically controls all of the internet websites, and the internet wouldn't work without it.
So when you say specialized web browsers and Handshake, is Handshake available now?
It is. It's a fairly new project. Its big launch happened about 6 months ago. And its goal is to basically replace this centralized ICANN network.
So how do you
browse?
How do you get on it? And so if it doesn't use, does it go on to the backbone of the old internet, or is this a new internet?
It still connects over all the fiber optic cables and all the computer networks that transmit data. It just has the ability to mask what's sent and which websites are being accessed. So that's how it's censor-proof and would solve this problem. Now, here's the bad news. The bad news is it's not yet user-friendly. You really have to be technologically savvy to use the technology. But as I kind of started, this offers us a glimpse of a potential solution to what we've experienced over the last few weeks.